everybody. By the time I upload this, it will be after the holiday, but I'm just sitting here on the weekend. Was kind of doing some dusting in my office. I was winding the clock in my office, and just happened to look down at these two boxcars that were sitting on the shelf right below the mantle clock in my office. And one of them is this, which every once in a while you'll see one of these on eBay, but I found one at a train show and I paid next to nothing for it. This is a custom-made Glenn's Train Shop boxcar, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And this was built in the early 70s. By a fellow named Andy Chris Wallace, and he had a company, I guess, that he had. Some of you might know a little more about this. Company is called KMT, Chris's Model Trains, and he had created about 40 of these for Glenn's Train Shop. Glenn's Train Shop happened to be the train store that I went to when I was a kid growing up. My dad went there, and there's a lot of mystique over this train shop because Glenn was quite the curmudgeon. So as anybody who's ever been there or heard talk of Glenn's Train Shop, he either liked you or didn't like you. Fortunately, he liked us. But I'm going to do a video about Glenn Yule and Glenn's Train Shop in the future because, again, this is where I went, and people traveled quite a distance to go to his train store. But at some point in the 70s, this guy, Andy Chris Wallace, he made about 40 of these custom box cars for Glenn. And again, they have metal trucks, and this is really clean. Again, I paid, believe it or not, $15 for this, and I know it goes for more. But what I noticed was this other box car. Let's kind of move this out of the way. This box car may be familiar to some of you. This is one of the Menards box cars that came out this last year. It's the Army box car transporting these artillery shells, just sitting on pallets. That seems safe. Anyway, so this came out from Menards this year, and it's got metal trucks, and they're really nice. Some of these Menards cars are really nice. But the thing that I noticed, let me line this up here, as I was looking down from the mantle where I was winding the clock, I noticed that these are almost exactly the same tooling for, get this up here a little bit. This is almost the exact same tooling with the exception of a few things. There's like a long ladder out there, but there's a short ladder in here. But if you look at these, side by side, and from the top, if I can get this all on camera, they're incredibly similar. They're almost exactly the same. The doors are made the same. It's just, it just got me thinking. And, the ends, well, let's flip this around. There you go. The ends are almost exactly the same. So the purpose of this video, let me bring these up a little closer to the camera here. The purpose of this video is to find out if any of you know why this boxcar made in 2022, 2023, and this one made in the early 70s, I think 1973 is when I'm finding out the date as far as what I'm Googling. Why the mold is so similar or almost exactly the same. I'm not sure what the status is of KMT. Doing a little research on that, wasn't super familiar with them, a little familiar with them until I got this, and it started piquing my interest. And you can even see on the side it says that they sell Tyco, Lionel, American Flyer, and KMT. We service what we sell. But so I'm curious if these were sort of standard tooling molds that Lionel built, if they were something that KMT had designed and had manufactured. You know, what's the history behind the mold tooling on these particular cars? And I'll flip these over, and obviously there's differences on the bottoms, but you know, the bang for the buck, these Menards cars are pretty cool. But that just happened to catch my attention today, looking down at the top of these two cars. So if anybody has any information out there, please put it in the comments. And also, I'd just like to say thank you to the people who are subscribing and watching the videos. I really was making all of this stuff for fun, but the fact that other people are getting some enjoyment out of it, you know, that's great. I hope you are enjoying it as much as my family and I are enjoying this. So thank you again, and put in the comments if you know anything about the tooling on these cars or KMT, and we'll explore it a little further. Thanks. We'll see you on the next video.